Suspended ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has insisted that the case against him is frivolous and politically motivated. And it's for this reason that he's asking the High Court in Bloemfontein to dismiss all charges against him. Let's find out from our reporters, Tumaole, Mohlaoli and Mbali, Thethani, who are tracking that story for us. Tumaole, I want to begin our discussions with you this morning. He says the proceedings are frivolous and politically motivated. On what basis does he say so?
Well, Michelle, the basis that Ace Magashule is basing those assertions on is the fact that he says the continued previous delays to starting the actual trial suggest that the state did not actually have a case against him. And he is of the view that as far as he's concerned, he's being tried for a lack of oversight. He says that he was not directly involved in approving any contracts for the removal or assessment of asbestos. But some have observed in the legal fraternity that should Magashule be successful with his bid to have the case against him certainly removed or dropped, it will effectively collapse the whole state's case. But let's get more from Ntateskunyela Mwekezi, legal analyst. Mr. Mwekezi, so Mr. Magashule is of the view that there is no case against him because he says that he was not involved in any corruption. If he is correct, does this mean that the whole case could collapse?
It does not necessarily mean that. In fact, the reason for today's proceedings is a pre-trial conference. It is going to deal with the narrowing of the issues before the judge to determine the appropriate date for trial. And once that has been determined, the parties will advance before the judge today their readiness, state of readiness, and it will proceed from there.
Yeah. The seriousness of the matter at hand, what could happen should the trial proceed and they are found to be wanting in terms of their assertion of innocence if they are found to be guilty?
If they proceed on trial and the state would have to prove the case against Ace Magashule and the co-accused, of course, and they are saying they have lined up witnesses in that regard. The defense has also assessed its own evidence, and the defense, it would appear from what you are saying, that the defense is of the view that they do not have, or at least Mr. Magashule, there is no case against him. But that is to be proven in court, and where there is no case, the court would find in accordance with the evidence before it.
And finally, we've seen that the case has been hit with a couple of delays, and Mr. Magashule certainly has made a lot of these delays, saying that they show that the state did not have a case at all. Is it normal for the state in the process of prosecuting individuals or entities like companies to ask the court for more time if they want to finalize their matter?
First, it needs to be understood that this is a very complex matter. It involves many accused. It involves many charges. So it's not an easy matter. There would be delays, but which delays are guided by the court? There would be no. The court can only make a different finding if there are unreasonable delays on application by any of the parties, either for the stay of the prosecution, say on the side of the defense, or the application in terms of 342 capital A, where they do not allow further postponement. So in that case, that will be determined by what the court decides at the end of the day.
Thank you very much for that analysis and insights. That was Seokonyela Mwekezi, the legal analyst here in Bloemfontein, that just unpacking some of the merits and what we are likely to expect in terms of the considerations as the Bloemfontein High Court hears Ace Magashule's application for the matter against him to be dropped. With that, I will throw to my colleague Mbali Thethani, who's on the other side of the court precinct. Mbali, what are you seeing and what is happening?
Well, indeed, there is a high activity here outside the High Court in Bloemfontein, and I must tell you that we are expecting a number of supporters of Ace Magashule to begin to make their way here. But, of course, we know that this case has a lot of implications for the suspended Secretary General of the ANC, because we do know that it is because of these charges here in this court which have resulted in his suspension within the ruling party. But just to give us a bit of an overview in terms of what this means, we are joined by Professor Tumaole. Now, Prof, we know that Ace Magashule has said that these charges are politically motivated. When you look at them, are these corruption charges or are they politically motivated?
Yes, I'm a sociologist and it's going to be very difficult to comment on the legal side of this particular case. But fact of the matter is, if you've been formally charged, you can't come and claim this is a political charges and all that trumped up charges. If that is the case, then as an ardent and a formidable, solid politician as he is, then I strongly believe that Magashule should perhaps play the political game in dealing with the political side of the matter or the concerns that he has. But at the end of the day, for me, he has been formally charged in a court of law, and that is where his legal team have to battle it out.
What would you say these charges mean for the SG? He has been suspended by his party, and it's because of these charges he has been asked to step aside while this court deals with that matter. When you look at this year, very crucial in the ANC, they are headed to their conferences. He would want a re-election. What does this mean for his position in the party when they headed to this conference?
No, personally and career-wise, it means a lot for Ace Magashule, definitely, because as you have already mentioned, there's already been direct consequences. He has been suspended in the African National Congress, and I know somebody like Ace Magashule, even if he himself does not have aspirations to become the president of the African National Congress or ascend to higher position within the ANC, definitely that is the belief of some ANC members, that he is the rightful member who will have to become the next president. So, to a large extent, this has huge implications politically wise for Magashule. But you can also imagine, on a personal note, what a case like this can do to somebody who I strongly believe that after Jacob Zuma has been one of the senior leaders within the African National Congress.
What would this mean for his position? Can he still try and contest it? We know that when you are asked to step aside in the ANC, you cannot be involved in anything that's related within the party. Can he continue and go to that conference later this year while he still faces these charges in this court?
No, most definitely not. But I think his next move will definitely depend on the outcome of this particular court case. But we all know this is going to drag on for many months to come, and we would like to see, but I strongly believe that even if it's not Magashule himself, who is definitely not campaigning as such, but consolidating his power and position within the African National Congress, then it's definitely his members. Because as I've indicated, he definitely still has support within the African National Congress. And people should never try to equate, the number of supporters at a court case with the actual support that somebody has within a political party.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. Of course, that is Professor Tumaole there, just talking about the matters of this court and what it means and the implications there it means for the suspended Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Ace Magashule. Of course, we know that he's challenging those charges here in this court, and of course, very crucial for him when it comes to his position in the ANC and what it will mean when the party heads to his conference later this year.
Yeah, and some interesting perspective there from your guest, Mbali. Thanks very much indeed for that analysis. Our reporters, Tumaole Mohlaoli and Mbali Thethani, are live to us there outside the Bloemfontein High Court as the case against Ace Magashule continues.